Hello, everyone. So tonight we have our second lesson, lesson number 2. So again, we're going to start with Burlington English. So please go to burlingtonenglish.com. Okay, click on BE login. And then remember, mine is my first and last name, but yours will be a number, not your first and not your last name. You have a number. So I'm going to go ahead and click log in. Just like in our first lesson for tonight, okay, we went ahead and did the following. So let me see if this is working. So we want to make sure that you go to courses first. In courses, we're still doing low intermediate. We're going to click. And now we're going to go back to student lessons. So earlier today, we did read, student services. Now we're moving on to grammar, present perfect with ever and never. So with that, we're going to click on here. We're starting with activity number 1. And in activity number 1, it says the following. In this lesson, you are going to learn about the present perfect with ever and never. So person number 1 is saying, I've missed a lot of English classes. Have you ever missed an English class? No, never. So I hope that it makes sense to see what we're seeing, okay, because right after, okay, we're gonna go ahead and click out of here. We're going into number 2. And then we have a couple of, okay, questions here. So first it says, read the conversation with examples of the present perfect, then choose true or false. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. So we want to make sure that we read what Jairo and Juan are talking about. So let's go ahead and zoom in. So I will read this for you. Jairo says, has your mother ever used a computer? Juan says, yes, why? I bought my mother a computer 6 months ago. She has never used it. That's too bad. My father is taking a computer course at Cal Adult School. It has helped him a lot. Really? What has he learned? A lot of different things. He can look for information on the internet now. He has also started to send emails. Maybe I'll tell my mother about the course. So if you want to record yourself or okay, want to rewind this and then read with me, you can. Okay, but I'm only going to read it once for this video. So as soon as we read this, we have to ask ourselves, is this true or is this false? So Jairo bought a computer for his mother 6 months ago. True or false? Jairo's mother has used a computer. True or false? 3, Juan's father has used a computer. True or false? 4, Juan's father looks for information online. True or false? And then lastly, 5, Juan's father does not send emails. True or false? So looking at this conversation, I want to make sure that you understand that we are now looking at the present perfect. Has ever used, has never used, has helped, has learned, has started. So we have a couple of examples here. And something different that I want you to notice is we're putting ED at the end. Remember that with the last one we did, the present continuous, okay, we were doing ing. Right now, it's no more ing because we're looking at the present perfect. And in most cases, we will have ed, helped, learned, used. For my Spanish speakers, we don't say learned. We don't say helped. It's blended. Remember we said blend, helped, learned, used. And some of my students sometimes confuse the D sound with a T sound. And that's okay, as long as you know that, okay, our ending is ED. So let's put clear. And now we're gonna go ahead and go through that presentation. But I don't wanna just use this presentation, so I'm gonna go to my PowerPoint. This PowerPoint will be available to you also in Google Classroom. So the title is Present Perfect Simple. This is what you see in Burlington English. In the present perfect for past actions that continue to the present. And I will explain this on Tuesday. Positive for I, you, we, and they have missed. He, she has missed. So just a slight difference, have for these 4 pronouns, and then for he, she has. Negative, remember we put the contraction. They haven't, she hasn't. And then for questions, have you missed? Yes, I have, or no, I haven't. And then questions, interrogatives. Why have you missed a lot of English class? So really what we're looking at is the participle ED. And if this doesn't make sense, I will also share a video so that you can watch of someone else explaining the present perfect. So here we're gonna see the form. Our form affirmative is I, the pronoun, you, we, they, he, she, it. So all of these have I have worked. You have worked. We have worked. They have worked. He has worked. She has worked. It has worked. However, not all the words are going to be able to end in ED. Not all of them. Here I am giving you an example of a word that cannot be said written. We change our ending to written. Written. So I have written. You have written. We have written. They have written. He has written. She has written. It has written. So if you understand this, I'm going to continue to click. When these are interrogatives, have I worked? Have you worked? Have we worked? Have they worked? Okay, and the same thing with written, have I written? Have you written? Have we written? Have they written? And same thing with has he? Has he, she, it worked? Has he, she, it written? And the negative, I, you, we, and they haven't worked. And I, you, we, they haven't written. He, she, it hasn't worked. So again, we're looking at the forms. How do we write the correct forms? With that said, we're going to go ahead and clear this. Okay, and it tells you why do we use it for an action that happened in the past, but whose results are obvious in the present. For example, let's look at this dirty car. Okay, and now it's clean. And now, okay, we have a shiny car. John's car is dirty. That is a present tense. He washes the car. He has washed the car. So I want you to notice 1 and 2 are both in the present tense, present. But we want to make sure that we also know how to use the present perfect. And for that reason, we have he has washed. Let's go to the next one. for an action that has just finished. For example, let's look at him. He has a meal, and then he no longer has a meal. So in the present, or in actually, this is the present continuous, Mark is having lunch. And then in the present perfect, he has just had lunch. The time expression just. We're gonna have one more for an action that started in the past and hasn't finished. Let's look at something that happened in 2000. Okay, and now in 2015. So we bought a house in 2000. We still live in the neighborhood, and we have lived here for 15 years. So again, okay, the first two, 1, 2, are in the present, and then the last one we'll put a heart next to this is in the present perfect. If this doesn't make sense, I will explain to you more in detail on Tuesday. So we're gonna go ahead and click out of here, and I'm gonna make this available to you because there's a few key things that I want you to learn. For example, ever, never, just, already, yet, for, since, how long, so far, lately, recently, and always. So with that said, okay, please try to go through these notes. Let me know if you need help. And then you can start with activities in Burlington English tonight. Okay, you can go through number 4. Okay, and you get to see irregular verbs. You can go to number 5. Okay, and then match the irregulars. Go to number 6, I'm sorry, and then read this, and then so on. Okay, again, I want you to start this lesson, but if it's too confusing, please let me know. Okay, and if you're able to, okay, please complete the lesson. If you're able to, I want you to please complete the lesson. Okay, thank you, everyone.